Hi guys, welcome you all to my YouTube channel Software Testing by MKT. As a part of this video, I'm going to talk about test case design techniques we have in software testing. Test case design techniques is also called as black box design techniques. Many people on my channel requested me to make a video on test case design techniques, so this is finally I am making for you guys. Make sure that you utilize this video to watch it till end. Have any doubt? List out your doubt in the comment section. I will be clearing all your doubt. Before I go into test case design techniques, I want to promise to you guys that once you watch this video, you're gonna remember this lifetime. I'm gonna explain this video in such a way that it will be easy for every one of you who is watching this video to be understandable. Let's get started to talk about what do you mean by test case design techniques first. Before going into the types of techniques, first let's understand what exactly you mean by test case design techniques. So test case design techniques is used while writing test cases in order to have a better test case coverage. So your test case design technique is a technique which is used while writing test cases in order to have a better test case coverage. Whenever any tester writes a test cases, the main motive of writing test cases is to catch the defect. We tester write test cases in order to find the defect. If I am a tester, if I am writing a test cases in which there is no better coverage, it is of no use. A test case is good when your coverage is good. Your test case, someone will say it's good because once your coverage is good, which I have already explained in one of my video. To have a better test case coverage, you need to learn the different techniques in order to write your test cases. Once your test cases coverage is good, your test case is good. Once your test cases is good, you will be able to catch the defect. What is the main role of QA? In order to find more number of defects. So as a QA, whenever you are writing test cases, you need to know what are the different techniques in order to have a better test case coverage. Now let's talk about what are the different types of test case design techniques we have. So the different types of test case design techniques we have are error guessing, boundary value analysis, decision table techniques, state transition technique, and equivalence partitioning. I'm going to talk about each one of them in brief. Let's get started to talk about what do you mean by error guessing first. So talking about error guessing, it is one of the test case design technique we have. As the name suggests, error guessing. Here test engineer will try to guess the error by entering the negative values. Here we don't follow any rules. This type of techniques, that is error guessing, it depends on the analytical thinking of individual test engineers. Suppose 3 test engineers are there. Some may come up with the creative scenarios, some may come up with the little creative scenarios, and some may not be able to come up with the creative scenarios. When I say creative scenarios, I mean analytical thinking of individual test engineers. Every person in this world think from different point of view. Error guessing has the same meaning. You need to guess the error in order to find the defect. Your application says that it can accept only numeric digit. So you will try to enter all negative data. Rather than entering positive data, you will try to enter negative data in order to find the defect. Your requirement says that your text field can accept only numeric digit. So what test engineer will find out that they will try to enter decimal digits, they will try to enter alphanumeric digits, they will try to enter alphabetical digits, they will try to enter numeric plus special characters digit, they will try to enter spaces between them, they will try to enter blank digits, blank characters, they will try to enter combination of uppercase and lowercase. They will think all those negative scenarios and they will try to find the defect. Here test engineers will drive more scenarios and he will try to guess the error. This is all about error guessing. Very small topic. Now let's move ahead to talk about what exactly you mean by equivalence partitioning, which is also called as equivalence class partitioning. Equivalence partitioning as a test case design techniques says that if your text field, if any text field you have and the requirement says that it can accept any digits between 1 to 500. Now to develop test cases, generally what QA will do, he will test this text field by entering 1 digit, he will test it by entering 2 digit, 3 digit, 4 digit, 5 digit, 6 digit, keep on testing until 500. he will enter all these digits to test this text field, which is a waste of time. So what equivalence partitioning says that? Equivalence partitioning says that if your requirement says that your input can accept 1 to 500 digits, you can divide this into classes. You can divide this into -100 to 0, 1 to 100, 101 to 200, then 201 to 300, then 301 to 400, and then 401 to 500, and then finally 501 to 600. You are dividing 1 to 500 into different classes, and then out of each class you will enter only one digit and check whether it is accepting or not. If you're entering and if it is accepting, that means whole class will accept those value into that text field. Example, if you take this class, equivalence partitioning says that if you take this class, out of this 201 and 300, if you enter any digit, let's say I'm entering 296, when you entered it, it is accepting. It means that whole class is pass. Means if you are entering 296 and it is accepting that, it means all 201 to 300 it will accept. That means it is pass. And if you have taken this class, let's say 301 to 400, you have to test that class by entering only one digit out of this 301 to 400. Let's say you are taking 305. If it is accepting 305, it means it will accept all the class values, that is from 301 to 400. It means this class is also pass. So instead of testing with 301 to 400, that is to test with different 100 test cases, what we are doing is you're testing with only one test cases and you are saving your time. Now I will test any digit from 401 to 500. You will test this class. So you will test, let's say you will test for 451. When you tested for 451, it accepted. That means whole value in this class is pass. Finally, in between 501 and 600, you are taking that, you will test it for 566. When you are entering this value, it is not accepting. The requirement says that it can accept only 1 to 500 and you are entering 566. When you are entering 566, it is not accepting. When your 566 is not accepting, it means that whole class got failed. None of the value from this class, that is from 501 to 600, it will allow. All the values present in this range, in this class, that is 501 to 600, got failed and it will never accept it. So instead of testing with different data, that is to test with 501, 502, 503 and then till 600, what you did is you tested with only one data, you saved your time and you said that whole class will not accept data and it is a failed. Similarly, you accept any data between 101 to 200. Let's say you accepted 111. That particular data it is accepting. That means all the data between this range it will accept, and finally this test case is pass. And now finally what you will do is, from this class that is 1 to 100, you will take any single value. Let's say you have taken 66 value. If it is accepting, you will say that my full class is pass. So that is pass. Now one more class you have created, that is -100 to 0. Now you are taking a value in between this range. You have taken -73. When you enter this value in this text field, it is not accepting. You will say that this particular class got failed. So if you see your test cases, instead of testing with 500 different data, you finally tested only with 1 value, 2 value, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You only tested with 7 data and you had a good test coverage also, and you avoided wasting your time. So this is all about equivalence partitioning. Here you will divide your range into various classes, and from each classes you will test for a single value. If it is pass, whole class is pass. If it is fail, whole class is fail. So that is how you will write your test cases. So you reduced your test cases from 500 to only 7, and you got to know which and all value it is accepting or not. You finally got to know that it is accepting between 1 to 500, and you got to know that it will not accept above 500, and you also got to know that it will not allow any value less than 1. So think about this, guys. When you testing, you are a QA, let's say, and you are testing in the real scenario, you are testing for your company. That time, instead of testing with 500 test cases, you only tested with 7 digits. You only tested with 7 scenarios, and you got to know that your test coverage is excellent. So this is all about equivalence partitioning, which is also called as equivalence class partitioning. I hope it is understandable. Now let's move ahead to talk about what do you mean by boundary value analysis. As the name suggests, boundary value analysis technique is based on testing at the boundaries between partition. So boundary value analysis says that if you have a range of value between A to B, you have to design your test cases for A plus 1, A minus 1, B plus 1, and B minus 1. Let's say you have a text field which accepts value between 1 and 10, which is nothing but my A and B. Let's say for your simplicity, I'm just telling you this. So boundary value analysis says that you have to design your test cases for A minus 1, and A plus B. And then for B, you need to design your test cases for B minus 1, and then B plus 1, which is nothing but your 1 is your A minus 1 is nothing but your 0, and A plus B is nothing but 2. If you talk about B, which is nothing but your 10, that is 10, B minus 1 is 9, B plus 1 is 11. So you had a range of value between 1 and 10, and you have designed the test cases for 6 values. So you have designed the test cases for 0, 1 and 2, and 9, 10 and 11. Let's say one more example. If you have a text field which says that it can accept value between 50 and 55, in that case your boundary value analysis test cases will be 49, 50, 51, and 54, 55, and 56. Here your 50 is nothing but A. So you have designed your test cases for A minus 1, which is a 49, A plus 1, which is 51. Your 55 is nothing but your B minus 1, that is 54, B plus 1, that is 56. So you will test with those 6 scenarios. This is all about boundary value analysis. Now let's move ahead to talk about what exactly do you mean by decision table technique. So in this technique, we check for multiple conditions, combinations, and rule criteria. Here we check with multiple inputs. Here the conditions are taken as an input and actions are taken as an output. This decision table techniques will be fully based on conditions, combinations, and rule criteria. Let's say you have a company, you have opened a new company for food delivery. Your new company says that if you are a new customer for me, I will give you as 15% of discount. If you are my new customer, I will give you a 15% discount. If you are my repeating customer, if you are my old customer, I will give you discount as 10%. And in case you have a coupon code, I will give you discount as 30%. Now this is the condition, and I have said that your decision table techniques is fully based on condition, combination, and rule criteria. So since these 3 are your conditions, so in case of decision table technique, your number of test cases will be equal to number of rules, which will be equal to 2 to the power number of condition. So 2 to the power of 3. Why? Because you have conditions as 3 conditions you have. So I will give number of conditions as 3, which will be equal to 8. So my total number of test cases here will be 8. How? You have to write this in the form of table, where you will say that this will be your rule number 1, this will be your rule number 3, this will be your rule number 2, similarly 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So this is nothing but your rules, and now here you will write conditions. So you will write conditions as new customer, 15% discount, your one condition. Now you will write repeat customer, you have 10% discount. Now you have one more discount as coupon code for 30% discount. This is your third condition. And finally this line will be your result. Now you have to write this tabular in such a way that you obtain a different combination of input. You guys remember when I spoke about decision table technique at starting, I said you guys that decision table techniques is fully combination of conditions, combinations, that is conditions, and your rule criteria. It is a combination of everything. So since we have here 8 test cases, for first column, the first 4 will be my true. Combining my rules and conditions. So how you combine it? So if you guys know this, if you guys don't know, learn it now. But you guys have studied this in your higher classes, that if you want to combine this thing, you have to write it as true, 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 and now you will be writing as false, 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 false. Guys, don't get confused. I am combining my rules and conditions. To do that, I have to follow this method. I have written first 4 as true and other 4 as false. In case my number of conditions would have been 4, that time my number of test cases would have been 16. In that case, I would have written first 8 column as true, next 8 column as false. Hope it is understanding. If my number of conditions would have been 2, my number of test cases would have been 4. In that case, first 2 column I would have written true, next 2 column I would have written false, to make it combine rules and conditions. So my first column I have written 4 true and 4 false. In next I will write only true for first 2, then false for next 2, then true for first 2, and then false for next 2. For last column, I am gonna write true, false, true, false, true, false, true, and false. Now this is how you combine your rules and conditions. Now your each rule is forming a test case. How will you write the test case here? You will write a test case that, now let's start with reading this test case 3. If you see this test case 3, here it is telling that if my customer is new and if my coupon code he has applied, then he should get discount. If he is my new customer and he's also having a coupon code, he should get 45% discount, which is a possible test case, right? So this is a positive test case. False means if you have a new customer, he can't be an old customer, right? And if he is a new customer, he can have a coupon code with him. So if he is a new customer, he will get 15% off. He's having a coupon code, he will get combination of 30% and 15% discount, which is nothing but my 45% discount. Now let's talk about this particular test cases. If you see this test case, he is telling that if a new customer is there, he is not an old customer and he is not having a coupon code. So if you read this test case, you will see that if he is a new customer, he can't be old customer, right? And he is not having a coupon code also. These two are false. His only is true is he is a new customer. If he is a new customer, he should get 15% discount. So this is a positive test case. Now let's talk about this test case first. He's telling true for everything. Guys, you know that when a customer is new, you can't be an old customer. So this test case, you won't write it at all. This is some invalid test case. When a customer is new, he can't be old also. Both can't be true. So you will neglect this. Or you will add it as your negative test case and you will test it whether it is, what is the output, you will check it. Now, checking this one. My new customer is true. My old customer is also true. My coupon code that customer is not having. So I can't have a test case in which I can say my customer can be new and old also. This is also an invalid test case. So you have to include this invalid test case also. Now if you check this particular test case, in that he is trying to tell that if your new customer is false, means he is not a new customer, but he is an old customer and he is having a coupon code. In that he should get a discount of 40%. This is a positive test case. You need to perform and check it. Now let's talk about this sixth test case. In that he is telling that he is not a new customer, false. He's not having a coupon code either. He is an old customer, so he should get a 10% of discount. This is one of the positive test case. You need to perform and check it. Now let's talk about this seventh test case. In that he is telling he is not a new customer, he is not an old customer, and he will apply the coupon code of 30%. This test case is invalid. Your customer should either be an old one or a new one. He can't be none of them. So it's an invalid. You will test it, but it's an invalid test case. It is a negative scenario, which you need to perform and check it what is the output. And your eighth test case is telling that your customer is neither new, your customer is neither old, your customer is neither having a coupon code, which is an invalid test case, which you need not perform it. Even though you perform it, you are not going to get anything. So this is how you write your test cases. See guys, when you don't write this table, you won't be able to test each one of them. This is so systematic and standard. This is fully combination of your rules and conditions. It is covering 100% test cases. This is your decision table test case design technique, in which you are combining your rules and conditions, and you have come out with the number of test cases. Your each rule is one test case. You will test it with these 8 test cases and you will cover all 100% test case coverage. This is very important when you join any company, to have a 100% test case coverage. In that you need to follow decision table techniques. This is one of the most important type of test case design technique, which is our favorite question if you are applying for the position of software QA in any company, especially if you are a fresher. I hope this topic is understandable to you guys. If you have any doubt, list out your doubt in the comment section. Now let's move ahead to talk about what exactly do you mean by state transition technique. In this technique, we test for different states of a machine, different screen of a machine, or different transition state of any machine. Let's talk about, you have opened a company which is a food delivery app, and you have already set the requirement that if anyone is entering the password wrong for the 3rd time, you will block him. This is the requirement. State transition technique, you have to test all the different stages you have. All different stages of machine you need to test it. All different phases of your system you need to test it. Let's say you have designed any application. Your requirement says that if user is entering wrong password for the 3rd time, let's block him. So if user is opening the app, opening the application, the next thing they will do is they will log into the application. They will log in. Once they are logging in, first attempt, if they are entering the correct password, they can order the food. They can order the food. In case their password is not matching, we will give them a second attempt. In case while doing second attempt, if their password is correct, they will be ordering the food. In case while doing second attempt, if their password is wrong, we will give them another chance to enter the password, third attempt. In case they enter the password correctly, they can order the food. But in case they are not entering the correct password, we are going to block them. If you see this diagram, it has lot of transition state. The first state, opening the app, enter the password, first attempt, enter password correctly, order the food, first attempt. What is the second step? Opening the app, login correctly, first attempt, password is wrong, given the second attempt. This is your second step. What is the third state? Opening the app, login to the application, enter wrongly password for the first attempt, enter correct password for the second attempt, order the food. Your fourth state will be opening the app, login the application, enter wrong password for the first time, enter wrong password for the third time, and then try to enter the password correctly for third attempt and order the food. Your next stage will be opening the app, login, do the wrong attempt in the first attempt, do the wrong attempt in the second step, do the wrong attempt in the third step, and finally blocking him. There are different stages, there are different states of the machine which you need to test it. Using this state transition technique or state transition diagram, this diagram is making you understand what and all test cases can come, right? So you need to draw this diagram and you need to analyze how you can write test cases in order to have a better test case coverage. If you don't write this diagram, you may miss some test cases. To have a good test case coverage, if you draw this diagram, it will be very easy for any one of you to write good test cases, to have a 100% test case coverage. So this is all about your test case design technique, also called as black box design technique. Hope this video was useful. If yes, please share this video with your needy friends. Subscribe to my channel Software Testing by MKT. Have any doubt? List out your doubts in the comment section. Want to reach to me out personally? I have added my Core account, Twitter account, Gmail account in the link description. Please check it out. Thank you.